Tarttelin. So I'm back home. I was in Germany for 3 weeks, which kind of explains why I didn't make any videos, but I guess you need that. So I'm back now and I'm really happy to be with my husband again, my little kitty who's just being crazy over there. And I thought that I would tell you or talk about my favorite books of 2015. It's sort of the second half of 2015 because I just started using Goodreads again in August, and before that I have like no idea what I read, and because I didn't like put it on Goodreads, so I guess it's only my favorites of the second half of 2015. But I also decided to make it sort of a shorter video and not like a 20-minute 10-book thing, because I chose one of each category. So I have a favorite. Ooh. Mascara is like not dry yet and it's sticking together. So my favorite in poetry, nonfiction, adult fiction, YA fiction, fantasy, and middle grade fiction. So that's 7 books. And I only own, well actually I only own 3 of them, and one of them is like borrowed. Anyway, so I'm going to start with poetry, and that's not going to be a surprise to you that it's a book by Andrea Gibson, and it is Poledancing to Gospel Hymns. I always feel weird saying that. Anyway, so Andrea Gibson is a poetry slammer and an activist and a poet, and she's just like overall amazing. And this is one of her poetry books, and it is by far like the one I enjoyed most. Like, I love all of them, but this one was like every single poem in there spoke to me, and I cried and I laughed, and like, I don't know, it just made me feel things. So I absolutely love this. So for nonfiction, it wasn't too hard, but it was sort of hard because I didn't read a lot of nonfiction books, but I read 2 memoirs, and that's You're Never Weird on the Internet by Felicia Day and The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer. And in the end I chose this one because it just, I don't know, Amanda Palmer's amazing. Like Felicia Day is amazing too, but Felicia Day's was more, like, it was still inspiring and it was funny and it was like amazing, but this kind of just spoke to me in a different level, and I cried so many times, and it's just like, I don't know, it's really amazing. So Amanda Palmer's the front singer, or was, I guess, of the Dresden Dolls, and she did a TED Talk about the art of asking, and that hit like 10 million, 15 million views, and she decided to write a book about it. And it's sort of her memoir, like her life story and the story of her musical career and everything, but it's also about how she used asking and like kind of mastered the art of asking and where it got her in life. So it's really cool and inspiring and deep and just interesting. I think adult fiction or like literary fiction or something is kind of a weird genre, and it's kind of like spongy, I don't know. But I believe that How to Be Both by Ali Smith would be like normal fiction, and I decided to have that as my favorite because it just, I don't know, I couldn't forget about it after I read it. Like, it was kind of hard to get into, and it was really like experimental, like the whole writing style and the concept of the book and everything. I kind of talked about it in one of my wrap-up videos a little bit more. It moved me, and in the end it was just such a genius book that yeah, it's just amazing. So then for YA fiction, I chose Golden Boy by Abigail Tarttelin. I sort of forgot her name there for a second. Anyway, and that's a novel about an intersex character. So he's not a boy, not a girl, but sort of both. So he's both, but he thinks that he's none of them. And about his struggles and everything, and it's a really interesting story. And it's like important. Like, I felt like it was a super important book to read. Like, it was heart-wrenching. It was so dramatic, and I cried and cried, but I just loved the characters. And I felt that it was important to read it and kind of, you know, deal with that subject. So for fantasy, it was kind of hard, but in the end I decided on Carry On by Rowell because, oh my god, like, I had high expectations because Rowell is one of my favorite authors, but it just kind of, you know, it met them and it exceeded them, and oh my god, it was so brilliant. I didn't actually think that the first half was slow, which a lot of people thought that it was kind of boring in the beginning, but I was in it like, I don't know, 10 pages in, and I just loved the characters, and I loved how gay it was, and I loved how, you know, it was kind of like Rainbow Rowell's style, but in a fantasy novel. Obviously, because it's a fantasy novel, but I loved it. And I love that it's a standalone and not like a 5-book series, and I think that you should pick it up if you haven't yet, because it's amazing. So for middle grade fiction, not a surprise either, I chose Wonder by R.J. Palacio. And oh my god, it like touched me, and it like, it's like in my heart. I want to reread it already, even though I just read it like a few months ago. But it's the story of August, who looks a little bit different than other kids, and he has always been homeschooled, and now he's going to middle school. I'm like not familiar with English school systems. Anyway, for the first time in his life, he's actually going to normal public school, and it's about his experience there, and it's written from multiple perspectives. I don't know how many, like 5 or so, and that just made it that much more relatable and just wonderful. And I think that it's not only a middle grade book, but actually everybody should read it. It has great morals and a great story, and it's just amazing. So those were my very narrowed down favorites of this year. And alright, my camera stopped. I don't even know what I was just saying. So I hope that you have a happy new year, and you get into the new year with, you know, not too much alcohol and stuff. And have fun, and I'll see you next time. Bye.